So the term big data is basically referring to huge and complex data sets that are difficult to store and analyze. Now, these data sets are actually everywhere. Think of a data set like a database, but it's not always that organized. Um, it's basically because we're living in a world now where so many devices are collecting information on us. And this isn't just websites and things like that, it's actually devices themselves, GPS locations, everything. The amount of data that is being collected on you as a person is phenomenal. Okay. And with this data, lots of things are happening. And they think this might be as significant as the Iron Age was in terms of in 10 years, you might not realize where you were before big data. Because some of the things they're managing to do with it is amazing. So they're being used generally by computers because for a human to process these huge data sets is impossible, really. So computers or supercomputers are used to analyze this huge amount of data and gain insight that we would never have without computers, because it's computers that are not only collecting the information, but they're also analyzing it. Um, so it's worth trying to watch. There's some amazing YouTube documentaries and things on big data that's definitely worth a watch. But the ways big data is being used is growing every day. So it's not only used to store factual data, but also to analyze trends and make predictions. So examples of some areas of use is things like scientific research, retail, banking, government, transport, mobile network security, real-time applications, the internet and research. To pick just a couple, um, in scientific research, they're collecting DNA samples from lots of people when they're getting ill, and they predict in the future that they'll be able to analyze big data, the big data of all this DNA, and predict illnesses before you get them, which would be pretty amazing. Somebody put cameras in their house, somebody that worked with big data put cameras in their house, and they had a young toddler. They stored and recorded every piece of sort of vocabulary as it was developing in the first few years of the child's life, and it's changed the way we think children learn how to speak. It's not about how repetitive it is, repetitively saying the same word. They think is now context, because the first words the child heard were the ones that they'd seen in more context. But again, being able to analyze video and audio footage over 3 years worth of a child's life is not something we've necessarily been able to do in the past. Final example, and there is so many. There's some Japanese cars that are putting sensors in seats. So during the development of cars, they're getting these sensors in the seats. So as you're driving around, they detect when the seat goes up and down, and the pressure change. But they're reporting those sensors back, and then the Japanese authorities or local authorities can analyze this data as it comes in and automatically work out where potholes are as they're developing. So obviously they know where speed bumps are, but if there's lots of cars, not just a single car, if there's lots of cars in the same area that are sensing changes in the seat pressure, then that highlights there's probably a pothole. So yeah, there's loads of different reasons, but that's the concept of big data, and it's all some of the different areas in which it's used.